I guess it's time. Could everybody please rise?
If you would join me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for the blessings that you give us every day, those that we know about, Lord, and those that we don't, and all of them we do not deserve, Father. Lord, we pray that you would send us rain. We know that you have a plan, and it's a perfect plan, Lord, and at this point in time, we're going to suffer through it and wait until it's your time. Lord, we pray for those who have suffered problems in their lives, Lord. We pray for those who have requests this morning, Lord, that are unspoken. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to sit here and gather and discuss the county business. Lord, we pray that the decisions we make will be for the benefit of the entire county. Lord, we ask that you would forgive us where we failed you, and we do that with great regularity. And we ask that you again, Lord, would be with us during this meeting. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regular Commissioners Court meeting for July the 28th. Making note that everybody is present. And we're going to start with the first item of business, discuss take possible action on payroll number 15 for the period ending July 22nd.
Payroll number 15.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
This means that we are halfway through for the year, right?
Is that what that means?
155 days to go.
Thank you. I appreciate your keeping me posted on that. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed take possible action on the approval of personnel action forms.
We only have three. The first is just a little bill resignation. Kimberly Bramea, increase in approved slot. Kevin Beadle, resignation.
I move we approve personnel action plan.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the county auditor's monthly report.
Yes, this is balance as of the beginning of July 2022. The graph shows cash balance for everything excluding debt service. Third page is a balance.
Excluding debt service, that's
Which is the TANs.
The TANs and the,
TANs and the
okay. All right.
And then third page is the individual fund balance, and then we have our warrants. Actually, if you have any questions, I can answer them.
So with 3 months to go, this looks pretty good.
We'll be able to make payroll for 3 months?
I think so.
Okay. Do we ever pay that e-filing out to somebody?
That e-filing comes to the general fund precinct. It's just a matter of the offices submitting the reports, and then we break that out
When do you break it out?
whenever they submit the reports.
So what are we waiting on? Them to submit their reports? Okay.
Okay, now these funds, that's COVID funds, that's ARPA funds,
That, yes, that doesn't include the ARPA funds and that other
ARPA's second from the
COVID-19.
bottom.
Second from the
Yes.
bottom.
Yeah, the e-filing funds, I just noticed, are $877,000, and that will ultimately go into the general fund?
Not all of it. Most of that will go to the general fund, the precincts get a cut of that, but that's
Okay.
all, that's just sitting in escrow waiting for the departments to submit their reports.
So what do we need to do to get that distributed? Is there something I need to do?
We need to get with the departments and
Okay.
see what's going
So
on,
let's-
what the holdup is on them submitting their monthly reports.
Then let's talk about that when we get to it, okay?
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't last year we did not include the precincts? When do we start including the precincts in the total amount?
On what amount?
On the total funds?
On the graph?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've always included them. The only thing that I've excluded on that is our debt service, the TANs and the COs.
Okay.
On that cash, we've always included them. or I've always agreed.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Looks good. Thank you. Next, we have discussed a possible action on authorization to purchase a work truck for precinct 3 under 262.024 discretionary exemption.
It's actually supposed to be trucks. I'm down 2 trucks still, and talked to the auditors about it. Lost 2 in the hailstorm. We replaced one of them, and then I've gotten one stolen out of the yard. So I'm still down 2 trucks. So under this exemption, I can purchase trucks without having to go out for bids on that.
Okay.
Emergency exemption.
Correct.
Did you ever find the one that was stolen?
Not yet. So,
Okay.
It might be in Washington DC,
Could be. Could be with the Medina County sticker
with
on
the Medina County sticker on it.
it. That'll be it.
so
So
I'll make a
make
motion that we authorize the purchase of these work trucks, if I can find 2 for precinct 3 under this discretionary exemption.
I'll second that.
Motion in 2 seconds. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I got just a little bit. With us going through the mess we're having getting vehicles, I had a phone call that there's one coming in. It's gonna be just like the last one that I bought that you had ordered, and I don't know if it's gas or diesel. It's diesel.
The one coming in is.
Yeah, it really didn't make no difference. And if he didn't want it, me and Tim might be interested, one of the 2. What do we have to do to pick up that? There's none left in the state of Texas. This is a cabin chassis, just like we purchased before. We purchased 3 of them already,
We purchased 2 done in Devine and Chaparral,
and then one from,
one from Cecil's here.
exactly.
And Cecil's has another one coming in.
And they're not on purchasing co-op, right? From what we understand.
So how do we do this?
We just have to bring the exemption again to court.
Okay, just bring it to court, whoever decides to take it.
Correct.
He wants to finance it through you, I want to pay for it from me.
Well, I got no money.
I was paying cash, bro.
Oh, now you're paying cash?
Paying cash.
Well, that's
Okay.
okay, around. But anyhow,
You know what to do now. All
you
those in
know what to do
favor?
now.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed a possible action on approval of accounts payable.
The total amount for accounts payable is $1,595,482.32.
So that's a lot better than the last person that was here 2 weeks ago. She really whacked us.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 20 grand.
On these prisoners, as far as healthcare, where are we hauling these people to get doctors or whatever? We're spending $140,000
Generally, it's over to the hospital,
over public.
generally. But if they have something this hospital can't handle, we have to take them to town. Then, that's a pretty high number for.
That is a high number.
But it does happen. So the Canco construction, the 323,000, was that for that building over there, the start of it,
And also the courthouse.
and finishing the courthouse over here? Okay, but that's, have they started on that building over there? The sheriff's building? Is that for the sheriff's building, right?
Or the storage?
The sheriff?
Yes.
Sheriff's cover, okay.
I know about 3 weeks ago, we went to help move his storage containers.
Okay,
We shoved them out of the way where they wanted so they could get ready, but I didn't notice anything Monday when I went to see it.
I was out there Monday or so, and it looked clear. It doesn't look like there's any action there, so I guess we just made the first payment. Okay. It's good, that means it's finally going out.
I move we approve accounts payable exempting the 97 restitution fund on page 13.
Second. Motion and a second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed and possible action approval of disbursement of funds since the last Commissioners Court meeting.
And those are for utilities in the amount of $8,398.47.
I move we approve the disbursements of funds since last Commissioners Court.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed and possible action on acceptance of a donation from Sutherland Communities for road repairs of County Road 241, Highway 173 to 241, Precinct 1.
Yeah, so, Sutherland's community, purchased a tract of land, developed it, and, they were gracious enough to, rebuild 3.5 miles of roads to get past their subdivision for the county. They've spent $450,000 doing it, putting in culvert pipes and water crossings and stuff like that, so I will make the motion we accept their donation.
And I'll second that. And I want to thank these developers that were, some of them that were using or helping to put in roads. Some of them get up to $1 million in my precinct. That's when you have a good relationship with your general contractors.
Did they do the work or did y'all do it?
They did it. We went in, we grounded, milled up the road, and then they completed it. So we spent 3 days there, they spent 3 weeks there, so,
Good return.
yes.
Okay, motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have visitors' public comment. I think you folks, you can talk right now, or if you want to talk, are y'all here for the over 65 exemption, Mr. Callis and Mr. Logan?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Callis?
No, mine's on a different topic.
Okay. Do you want to talk when that topic comes up? Do you want to talk, do you want to wait? That starts at 10 o'clock is when we're going to take up the second half of the Commissioners Court. So the 9 o'clock session, as you can see, we take care of business. At 10 o'clock, we take care of the rest of it. So you can talk now, or you can wait till we get to that item, if you want.
I have 2 items. The first one is not on the agenda.
Oh, do you want to talk about it now? Or?
If I may.
Sure, come on out.
Thank you, Your Honor and gentlemen of the court. My name is James Callis. I'm a 35-year veteran corporate department retired. And I recently purchased land here in Medina County in Precinct 3, and we just built a home 4 years ago and moved here. Our road is just spider fractured and just a lot of potholes. A lot of potholes have been repaired, and it's only an inch thick. So I went driving around some of the county roads. I went up County Road 45, impeccable surface. Very beautiful home, or homes in that area, there's only 5 on that road. Well, on our road, we're 2.25 miles long, and we have 11 homes and a 12th one that's fixing to start construction of about 2,500 square foot. My home is site built also of 1,500 square foot, and we reside there now. The road on the first half of it down to Rusty's crop duster service is not bad. It needs some repairs. But from that gate further all the way down to the Timberlake Hunting Ranch and residence is just deplorable. Like I said, it's only about 1 inch thick, and there's so many fractures on it. When we do get rain, which I'd like to put on the agenda for praying for rain, those little chunks of
Outside of our
asphalt
control, unfortunately, but we'll try.
yeah, we brought our pastor, we've been begging him also. When we do get rain, that road just shreds. It's very rough, and I'd like for at least a county engineer, a road engineer, somebody to take a look at that and put it on a future agenda to try and get that resurfaced. We are developing homes and families that are moving in that area, and I appreciate y'all taking a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes, ma'am?
Is it possible if I could go ahead and speak now, because I may not be able to stay past 10 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am, would you come on up, tell me your name, and you've got, it's a 3-minute.
Yes.
If you could
It's
make it brief, that'd be great.
My name is Linda, L-Y-N-D-A, Hook, H-O-O-K.
Linda Hook,
Hook, yes, sir.
all right?
Precinct 1. On item 16, you heard my testimony last month, and I just wanted to reaffirm that please protect us. And item the 65 and over, my husband and I both 65 and over, we're on fixed incomes now, we get no raises anymore. What raise we get on Social Security goes directly to Medicare because they keep jacking that up. So please take some consideration for that for a lot of us that are 65 and over in the county. Appreciate your support.
Thank you, Ms. Hook.
Understood.
Okay, no one else, then we will stand in adjournment until 10 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. We have a full house, and we are here for the second part of our regular Commissioners Court meeting for Thursday, July the 28th. And the first item on the agenda is the update on veteran services by Ruben Gonzalez, our Veteran Service Officer. Ruben, come on up.
Thanks.
And I see we have Mr. Ainsworth, our former Veteran Service Officer here. Thank you.
He comes here and he's always supportive for multiple reasons, whether it's with the veterans or our community. So thank you so much, Joe, too, for being there and helping us out. Well, Commissioners, I know that I gave you a preview a few weeks ago when we came in here. We were talking about budget and adjustments with the budget. So this same sheet is exactly the same one that was included in your packet. Just wanted to, first of all, just wanted to thank all of you, Judge, Commissioners, for the support for the Veteran Services. Without what you've done for us, especially Commissioner Sitter, unbelievable support, especially in your facility. What we're able and capable to do now, not only to take care of the veterans, but the families and the widows, has been tremendously. And because of the efforts and the resources that you provided for us, in turn, we've been able to go out there and take care of more veterans and their families in there. So the handout that you have in front of there is to kind of give you a perspective of the different fiscal years along with the different things. So this is basically an opportunity for us on an annual basis. The judge loves us to come in and tell you how we're doing across the board for our county. So with the total expenditures, you'll notice on there that in 2020, we actually had $62 million that we were bringing into the county. That's including all the different categories of services that are provided in here.
And these are benefits from the VA going to the veteran, right?
These are benefits going to the veteran, and I'll cover each category, or they're going to our healthcare facilities or mental health facilities that we have. So it's money that is invested. either through the veteran, through the family, or through some service that the Medina County organizations provide for our veterans. So for fiscal year 2021, which is the one that the report that just recently came out, you'll notice on there it's $69,665,000. So we increased our percentage overall expenditures by $7,665,000. And that's inclusive of everything. The second column that you have on there is the comp and pen, and this is the one that really is the bread and butter for us. The things that we actually deal with, I would say 80% of our workload is in that category. And I tell you, one of the reasons that we've been very successful is because of that man that trained me, and then I've had the opportunity to help out our other employees and take us to the next level. You'll notice on there that on an average, we went from 1.2 million to almost 5 million, and here recently in this last year, we went up $5.9 million increase in just 1 year, from 2020 to 2021. So we've been working very hard to be able to help out.
I know, Ruben, that you serve veterans from other counties as well. Is this strictly Medina County, or is it including?
Thank you, Commissioner. Very good point. That number is strictly Medina County, so that does not include those special circumstances that we take care of other counties.
And we know that you do that without any hesitation. We appreciate you taking out of that.
We work closely, yes. We try to take care of everybody. If it's something routine, we'll try to get the other county involved and have them take over. We'll answer the questions. But if it's an emergency, and we get plenty of them that we get, that either a veteran or a widow needs help right now, we will drop everything that we need that we're doing, and we'll actually help them out. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. That number is just Medina County within itself. Education, we went up, and that's money that is being paid to some of our schools around here. That went up $53,000. Insurance went up $198,000, money that was paid off. The bottom number, you'll notice on the veterans population that number went down. Unfortunately, we did lose a lot of veterans during that time frame. Of course, we all know what else was going around during that time, so it affected our veteran population. Our office was extremely busy handling a lot of death notifications and taking care of the families that go along with that. I do want to give a little special extra to our Justice of the Peace. They've been very, very helpful. Where before we used to receive the information after from the family, our JPs are doing a great job that as soon as they're actually going out there and talking, they're actually funneling that information, and we can look them up and we can kind of prep the paperwork and do all the things that go along with that. And that's been also something that Joe started too, and we just keep going and enhancing it even better. Our medical care, this is money that is going into Medina County from 2020 to 2021. We increased that by $1.4 million. That's money that is going into our doctors, our nurses, our facilities, our mental health. So we've had a very, very good year in the sense of bringing money into Medina County. We're going to continue to do that and kind of just based on the circumstances that we have. I do, without going anymore, everybody understands the growth of Medina County, especially in the east. In the east side, we do have veterans that are moving into a lot of those homes, so our numbers are increasing more in the Castro office. So I want to finish up with that and just say, Commissioner, thanks again. That's a home run office for us. It's made a huge difference. We do continue to come here in Hondo and plan to go down in Devine too. We're spending a day and a half over in Hondo to make sure that our veterans and our families don't have to come to one office, where we try to get as close as possible to them by having that regional approach.
You still have the office in Devine, don't you?
What's that?
You still have the office in
Yes.
Devine? Okay.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner actually donated his office. He moved out of that.
I'm just curious.
So we still have it and we use it, and it comes in handy. Actually, we have somebody over there right now actually taking care of our veterans. But Commissioners and Judge, that's our report for the last year in the sense of what we've been able to do here. Is there any questions for us?
I don't have a question, but I do want to brag on you a little bit. Not yet. I get plenty of phone calls from veterans that you've dealt with that compliment you so well, how you made it so easy for them. how you resolve issues within a timely manner versus them fighting for years trying to get something. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And Ruben, it took the whole commissioner court to hire you from his recommendation, and thank God you're here.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You do a great job. Thank you very much. People come from other counties because of you, so you and your staff, so thank them also.
I appreciate it. We will.
Thank you, Joe, for teaching me.
He did it. He's the one who did it.
I'll be meeting you at the court, Joe.
I remember one day I called Joe personally. I said, Joe, I might have a guy that might want to help out. He stopped by my office one day, and I knew you were a perfect fit.
And Brian and Gary, outstanding. I want to finish up with that because they just been unbelievable. I will tell you that we've gotten Brian recognized at the state level, and here recently, because of what Gary has been able to do, they requested for me to put a nomination package in for him. So I'm hoping that here in the next few months, we might hear some good news too, because he's actually been very helpful with some of those most difficult cases, and he brings in that EA experience. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
very much.
Judge.
We really appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to also make a comment that, Keith, we didn't build this room big enough, okay? This is the first time it's ever been full with standing room only. If you've been over to that one, you'll be out in the hallway, standing room only, watching it, and we thought we built it big enough, but welcome here. We're glad you're here, and when we build the next one, or he builds the next one, we'll make it bigger, okay? But anyway, we're going to go on to the second one, and that is discuss the possible action on preliminary approval of vacant replat of lots 27 and 28, Country View Estates, Unit 1, Miss Wells.
Good morning. I'm Jen from Ruben Associates, and the owners of lots 27 and 28 are seeking preliminary approval to replat their lots into one lot, which would be 27A, in precinct 1, Country View Estates. Any questions?
No, this one's easy. They're taking one, two lots, turning one big one, which we all like bigger lots, so.
Yes, sir.
Keep all our requirements. I'll make the motion to hear preliminary approval.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion?
Yes, I'd like to publicly thank you for the help you gave me the other day. It solved a big problem with the fence in the road deal. So,
Did she help fix that?
yes, you did.
So it's resolved.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to table number 12. We're going to go on to number 13, discuss the possible action on approval of amended plat for Tranquil Oak subdivision, Unit 7, correcting the name of one of the streets located in precinct 2 off of Tranquil Road.
Hi, Sam Garcia with MTR Engineers. We're basically just changing one of the street names from a previous name to a new name. The subdivision's already been plotted originally, but this is all this is for.
Which street name are we changing? I forget.
We're changing from, I believe it was Alicia Way, or we're changing it to Highland Park. Essentially, that's all it is.
We've already got a Center Park place, so we can't do two of them. So.
See, I was on the way, they put me down at the trail now.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's good or bad. But
We
anyway,
already had another street with that name somewhere. Is that what happened?
and I will approve the name change, and I drove through this whole subdivision yesterday, y'all see some stuff still going on. This is one of the subdivisions that we have not slowed up in at all. They're built the most beautiful houses you've probably ever seen in your life. They're around 800,000, and every single home has a sold sign on it. They're mostly cash. I talked to sales representatives, and mostly all cash. So if you want to see what's going on the north side, how we work a PID, and how it implements into these subdivisions, please go out and look at the Tranquil Oaks. It's worth a walk through and go through a couple of model homes they have over there. They're absolutely gorgeous. And thank you for what you are doing. And I will okay the name change on Tranquil Oaks subdivision.
That's a motion. Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Sam. Next, we have discussed take possible action on acceptance of the following maintenance bonds. Bond number, and I'm going to read the number, Hunters Ranch Subdivision Phase 3. Bond number, and I'm going to read that number, Hunters Ranch Subdivision Unit 2. I know, it's just, nobody cares about the numbers. Are these an amount that are satisfactory to you, Mr. Sitter?
I have sent a email back to the developer, and I talked to the engineer on this one here. If this is such a massive subdivision, I'm trying to get clarification what all streets they covered in these 2 units. Because once we take this maintenance bond, these streets are ours. So I'll want to hold off until the next meeting, until they send back to me, and he agreed, they'll send me back all the names of these 2 subdivisions. It's about 2/3 of the whole subdivision.
Okay. You'll get back to them.
I'll get back to them so I can actually go out and inspect the streets myself.
We'll table number 14 then.
Perfect.
Next, we have discussed take possible action on approval of amended plat for Mesquite Creek subdivision, changing the name to Paisano Pass subdivision located in precinct 1. Mr. Howard, so we already have a Mesquite Creek
Yes, sir.
subdivision.
Yes, sir. We missed it.
I think there's probably 10 Mesquite Creeks in the county if we really went out and looked for them. Everybody's got a Mesquite. I got an Elm Creek too, but
Yes, sir. That's the only thing that changed was the name.
okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Howard. All right, if y'all guys wouldn't mind silencing your phones, that would be awesome. Next, we have discussed a possible action on the declaration of local state of disaster regarding the unprecedented levels of illegal immigration. Ms. Clark, you spoke last week on that, as did some others. And when I started rewriting the declaration that was sent to me, and I guess it was written by the other counties, is that correct? I think it was Kenny County.
Yes, Kenny County.
So I read the document, and so the lawyer in me steps out whenever I read something, and so when you have special words like finding of facts and as a matter of law, I think this document as written needs to be rewritten, and I intend to rewrite it. But there's some misstatements in it that actually is not the law, but they're saying it's the law. So I would like for it to just be accurate for Medina County, because, and I've talked to the governor's office about it to just see if there's any benefits to us passing this, and there really isn't anything attached to it. It's just a statement we're making. This document won't save any lives. That gentleman right over there and his people are going to save lives and do their job. But we will pass it. It won't be today because I have to rewrite it. It's, I'm afraid the person that wrote it is probably the only person that wrote it, because these other counties have passed it. The law is not correctly stated in this document.
We're not gonna change the scope or the intent, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, when we can't tell the governor to do something as a matter of law, when we don't have the law on our side. So that's the problem.
It was written by the Kenny County attorney.
I know, and I know him, and I think he just misstated the law. Okay, and I'll just tell you what it is. He cites Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, where it talks about us being protected by insurrection, invasion, and things of that nature. The case law that supports that section specifically states an invasion doesn't pertain to illegal immigration. So I just need to rewrite it so it's correctly written. But the U.S. Constitution does not protect us. An invasion doesn't include illegal immigration, and that's case law that exists. So
It's not illegal immigration, it's illegal aliens.
I understand.
Okay.
That's a matter of term there. But I talked to Chief Kidd, who is the head of TDM, and talked to him about it, and he said, you know, it doesn't hurt to pass it, but he said, Judge, if you don't think that the governor and us are doing everything we possibly can today to protect the citizens, he said, he's a former AG, we have an AG, we're doing everything within the law today to try to stop them and come across. It's not a state function, unfortunately, it's our federal government that's causing this, and until our federal government wakes up, it's an issue. And we're stuck with that. So anyway, so I'm going to table it. It'll be on in 2 weeks with a new document. The next one is going to be discuss take possible action on freezing the Medina County tax rate for people over 65. And I think everybody that's here for that, raise your hand, please. All right, that's what I figured. So what I'm going to, okay. 3 of the 5 of us sitting here are over 65, okay? So that's an issue, but.
I got 20 years though.
Oh, shut up. You could I have 4 people that have asked to speak, and what I'd like to do, because we could take forever if everybody wants to talk, but I think we all know the reason we're here, and so I'm going to just start with the 4 people that signed up to speak, and if anybody here signed up to speak has already heard what you're going to say in the interest of time, then just agree with whoever just spoke and said what you agreed to, okay? So I'll start with you, Mr. Callis, since you were the first one here, so. And we have 3 minutes to talk. And here's your timekeeper.
My name is Jim Callis. I'm a resident in western Medina County. I am 64 years old.
I'm sorry, that's $50, and we take up, no, I'm kidding.
Insurance it would be.
Yeah, we should be.
Immediately.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I am on a fixed income. I am retired. I have a hearing disability, and I'm also a Navy veteran. My current health insurance is about $2,000 a month of a $5,000 pension. The pension will never go up, but my insurance always does. So does my taxes, so does my home value, so does my property value. After the end of a month, when we budget and we maintain a strict budget, I have about $1,100 to spend on food, vehicles, and maintenance of the house and the car. Every year as our taxes go up, that cuts into that because my pension will never go up. I am not eligible for Social Security because of our pension. And our health insurance is maintained by the city of Corpus Christi, so I have no control over that either. As I understand on a freeze, as my parents did in Oasis County, when my father passed away, my mom inherited the home, her taxes on the property decreased and was locked in until she passed away. Once she passed away, the taxes tripled, and I was maintaining that home and had to sell it. So I would appreciate the county commissioners to take a look at this. Understand this, in my area, there's a lot of senior citizens, and an increasing of property values and tax rates really takes a bite out of those on fixed income. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Logan.
I'm David Logan, in precinct 2. But anyway, I agree with what Mr. Callison, is that right?
Callison.
Okay. Said I'm on fixed income too. I do have a small income that came from my late wife from TRS, but still on fixed income, Social Security, retired carpenter. I hope that you will agree with everybody in here that's 65 plus and over, that you would freeze the county tax. For Commissioner Sitter, how about freezing the road tax for her precinct 2? Because that would help us too, because the roads are going to, cause us additional money and everything like that. But I just wish you would consider the freeze for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Carter?
I'm Jonelle Tardy, was born and raised in Medina County. I've been here for 79 years, so I've seen things come and go. First, I want to thank you all for considering considering doing something for the elderly people, because we definitely need it. Second, I want to thank the Devine News for putting this on the front page of their paper last week, because most of the people in Medina County don't even know this is going on, because they haven't heard of it. 5 years ago, the taxes were very reasonable. The elderly could pay them, but things have gone downhill in the last 5 years. Presently, if you own 10 acres of land in Medina County, they value it at about $10,000. If you own 2 acres of land, the value of your land is $20,000 to $22,000, or a little bit more. So what that means is the people that own less than 10 acres of land are actually paying a disproportionate amount of taxes. Most of the elderly people just have a few acres. We don't have that many things. I agree with the other gentleman that people that are on a pension, we never get any more money, regardless how far it goes on. The thing is, I realize this will cause a deficit, but I want you to keep in mind that there's hundreds of acres of land being sold, going to be sold in Medina County to developers. They put in hundreds of houses. They're going to put in thousands of more houses. And they're not little shacks. They're 500,000 or 600,000, so we're going to collect a lot of tax money from that over what people used to pay for the ag. So I do want to ask y'all to please vote to freeze the taxes for people over 65 years old or older.
And Mr. Logan, Mrs. Carmen is the one that passed my road tax. Thank you so much for the hard work you done. She is a lady. She did it all.
All right, David Ellinger.
Some of y'all know me, some of you know I'm David Ellinger from Devine, and I believe in reducing our taxes. Your audience here, of course, believes the same thing. And I appreciate as y'all formulate your motion to pass today, that you include some elements that may or may not have been considered. Husband and wife own one piece of property. The husband goes into the nursing home. He's 65 and above, and the wife is not. How do you fashion that? How do you include those exemptions for over 65? That's the question I have. So it's not just saying, oh, somebody over 65 in the homestead residence of a house and home they work years and years and years to maintain and hold up. How do you fashion that? How do you put that real tax reduction in the homeowner's hands? That's my question. And I do support reducing that simply because those that have paid taxes for 60 plus years, that's a good thing for our community. And that will also encourage a little bit of peace of mind in the community for all of us. But thank you. Jerry and I have, Mr. Beck and I have had some discussion on that. And I really want to see the honoring of reducing taxes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I shouldn't ask this, but anybody here want to say something that hasn't been said? Okay, good. Oh, there you go. We got one volunteer. And sir, please state your name so we know who you are.
I'm George Cook, Medina County. I live north of Medina County, and what I'm concerned about, and I think they face all these taxes every year they go up, because some guy moved in here, and here I've got a place next to him, and he pays $10 million, so there goes my taxes. And I don't think that's right. He's stupid in the first place to pay that kind of money. And so then he should pay our taxes, the way I look at it. I mean, some kind of stuff is just done every year. I mean, it don't seem like it's like this realtor told me, there's no price in land and whatever this guy wants to pay, So it just keeps going on. It's a vicious cycle. And So, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know how else they're gonna do it, but I don't think that's right. Like where I live, 90% of that land up there, we ought to get a break on that. We're under a conservation easement. It ain't qualified as high as another piece of property. So I don't know if they've ever considered that, you know, on our taxes.
Yeah. No, we're here, the conservation easement is a totally different, ballgame that comes from other parts than us.
Yeah.
So, but thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Who wants to start? Commissioner Beck, this is your item. So I provided y'all, by the way, with just some
A plethora of numbers.
I wanted y'all to know, and I can get y'all copies if you want to see it, but if you want me to just tell you, today, the over 65 exemptions in Medina County, there's 5,582 households that qualify for the over 65 homestead exemption, which is up to 50,000. And everybody, including under 65 and over 65, qualify for the state homestead exemption of 25,000, which means if you got a $500,000 home, they deduct 25 off of it. So that's what it saves you. The total exempted value in Medina County is $73 million, almost $500,000. And the taxes that are saved by the seniors are taxes that we don't collect. On those numbers is $402,000. The total amount of exemptions in Medina County today that are taxes that are on everything exempt is $525 million, which means there's $2.87 million of taxes that we don't collect. The biggest piece of that, we talked about it last meeting, is the disabled veterans. There's about $1.8 million in exemptions that the disabled veterans get, and that's the biggest exemption. And then the over 65 is second. And state exemptions are state exemptions, and those are churches, schools, things of that nature. We're not going to collect taxes on them. So that's $584 million. The thing I want to say here, the $2.87 million are all inflicted upon us by the government. We have no choice but to do those exemptions because our government, you've heard of the term unfunded mandates? These are all unfunded mandates that we as a commissioner court have no say on. So I just wanted y'all to know, as a total right now, there's $2.8 billion of taxes we don't collect because the federal government says so. Whatever we do here today will be actually self-inflicted because we will decide what to do. And I just want to share with you all those numbers before we get moving. Okay. Oh, and I should also say 37% of all the homesteads in Medina County, there's $3.1 billion worth of homesteads in Medina County, and 1.2 of that is over 65. So 37% of the total homestead value in Medina County is owned by over 65, of which, as I mentioned earlier, 3 of us are sitting right here with y'all. So, go ahead.
Okay, to address the exemption numbers before I get into my spiel, the $50,000 offered by the state and the other exemptions, that was just eat up by a $56,000 increase in my evaluation, thanks to the appraisal district. Back in 2005, a fellow representative named Fred Brown from of all places College Station, a Republican, authored the legislation and put it to a vote statewide. 80% of the folks who voted for this. And to be honest with you, had I known this 10, 11 years ago, I'd brought it up then, but I didn't. I guess I'm ignorant or whatever you want to call it. But this is another way for the elderly, fixed income person like I'm going to be eventually, to kind of help them out financially because the world is going to hell in a handbasket unless we do something. And I don't know why a change can't start in Medina County, USA. The effect it's going to have on the taxes in the future, I think that this Commissioner's Court in the past has addressed. They've been fairly conservative. And I think that this may be an opportunity or a necessity where the people sitting up here, one of them ain't going to be me, should look at maybe tightening the belt a little bit, redistributing some funds in other areas. And until this period of time is gone, the inflation is back under control, and money is worth something. But I haven't done a whole lot of research yet, but I found out in the past couple of days that we wouldn't be unique in this effort. Bear County does it, Collins County does it, wherever that is. Uvalde County offers it. So I also found out that all it takes is a majority of votes up here to get this in place. Like I said, 10 years ago, had I known this, I brought it up then, but I didn't. So that's kind of my spiel. And I think that in an effort to help the elderly and those on fixed income, one of which is going to be me in 155 days, then we need to do something, because the appraisal district's not going to slow down. The taxes are going to be there every year, but if those on a fixed income can budget, like the gentleman said a while ago, something that's going to be a constant, then it will make their life a whole lot easier. Amen, pass the hat.
Anybody else?
Yeah. First of all, I'm not one of the 65-year-olds up here. But I hope to be someday. Hope to be. I have a question first. Second thing is how this is implemented. Is it implemented by freezing the tax rate on these properties, freezing the appraised value, or both, in essence, freezing the dollar amount?
I think you're freezing the appraised value
And the tax rate.
so once you go over 65.
So the amount of money actually paid then is frozen, that amount.
Well, let me just throw that out. You probably don't want to freeze the tax rate because our tax rate's been going down. And so if our tax rate's been going down, you want to have the advantage of the tax rate going down. So I think all we're doing here is freezing the value, from what I understand, and that's, and also just add in, all the school districts freeze right now, and the city of Castro. That's the only people, city of Castro and all the school districts.
And they freeze the value.
It's freeze the value.
Okay, that was my question.
What I found out, I went and got a printout of my tax debt for the past 5 years. And it stopped at one figure when I turned 65. The school taxes didn't increase. So that tells me that they not only froze the tax rate, they froze the appraised value because the amount that I paid has remained the same every year. So,
unless they just haven't changed their rate in the school system.
well, I guess.
The Commissioner's Court has listened to me ad nauseum complain about never having enough money to do what I want to do in my precinct. And that's true most times. We're as frugal as we can be. We do a lot of belt tightening, and I think a lot of the departments do here in the county. Just want the public to be aware, and probably everybody in here realizes that the money that we spend to provide services is your tax money. I don't know that it's going to be a huge hit to the revenue that the county brings in. If it is a huge hit by doing this, then that money will either have to be made up somewhere else, or services, logically, will just not be as good as they are now. I know people that drive Precinct 3 roads, a lot of them don't want to hear services aren't going to be as good as they are now, because I'd like them to be better than they are now myself. So that's the only concern I have. I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I think, as already stated, subdivisions that are going in with large homes and the businesses that are going in are going to probably more than make up for this. But I just don't know what those numbers are. So, I would love to enjoy this when I'm 65 also. But I just don't know, I don't know what those numbers are. And want people to realize that it is a direct proportion from income coming in to services going out.
You're not far off, are you?
No, I'm sorry.
I know David, David and I both have the biggest precinct. Unfortunately, I got 20 years before I get to that. Again, big precincts, is this going to affect our budgets? I think that we're all together. If we can make it work, where it's not going to hurt the budget, I think that's what we're after. So, it's always best to promote the help. I think that's everyone in the court, that's what we want to do, is we want to help the people that need it and be able to provide the services that you deserve.
Me being one of them on the upside of 65, I don't feel it's my right as a commissioner to vote on me a tax break for me. This thing goes forward, I would like to see it go to the voters. We have an election in November. And like Mr. Carter said, yes, it's going to affect some other people. We got 37% right now drawing over 65. That means there's going to be 63% of the people in the rest of the county going to have to pick up that number that you don't know where it's at right now to make up that difference, to have the quality of Commissioner's Court, road maintenance, whatever we have going forward. My next step is, this thing when it first hit the paper, coffee shops, I guess is about the best line of information you can get other than Facebook. They asked me how I felt about it. I said, I'm going to be 69. You won't pay my taxes? No, I didn't pay your taxes. Somebody's going to have to. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. On the $50,000, if we have $50,000 worth of deductions put onto each household, at our current tax rate coming up this next year, it is going to be the lowest in history of Medina County. In history that I've known in my lifetime, our tax rate, because of the valuations that went up. You're going to save on a $200,000 house on $50,000, about $200 a year. That, what everybody's savings in here at a $50,000 hit is going to be. Around 4%, 4.1, 4.3, I think our tax rate's going to be. I'm hoping that's where it's going to be. About $200. Like Jerry Beck said, until we get this inflation under control, last Monday I pulled into a gas station and you got that little man sitting there with that, fill me up. And I think just about the time I pulled into the gas station, he was just sticking that hose down into my gas tank. $103 worth of gas for a week. And here I am going to save $200 a year. I'm not on a fixed income. I hope I'm never on a fixed income. I've taken steps in the past to take care of that. All my life I had put away. So I don't have to sit there on fixed income or county retirement. I have no other retirement, zero, other than a Social Security check, which I haven't started drawing yet, and a county, whatever you want to call it, pension or retirement, or whatever it is. I'm worried about the kids moving into the county, the new kids moving into the county. That's my biggest concern. We're going to push this burden on them. That's me. I'm going to make them pay for my taxes. I haven't worked on doing that. That's why I say send it to the voters.
We can't put it on the next election. Luke is not here, but the new clerk.
Gotta find a place to sit.
And I'm going to tell you all, I've researched other methods, Jerry, that I think, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to throw these out and y'all tell them, we'll figure out where we're going to go from here, but some areas freeze amounts for seniors. So let's just say, and I got at the bottom of your sheet what examples are. If we could say we're going to add an additional, say, $75,000 to each homestead over 65. Well, that actually benefits the people that have $200,000 homes a whole lot more than the people that have $1 million homes. And that is one way to address and benefit those people that probably need it the most because of whatever their situation is. I showed you what $75,000 would look like. That'd be about a $410 break a year. $50,000 would be $273 a year. I'm not opposed to any of these. I'm not opposed. I do have a little concern because I am over 65. I'm the third one here. And I'm going to be voting for my own benefit. And I have a little bit of an issue with that, which is why I would agree with Commissioner Sitter that I am not opposed to put it to a vote. To let the citizens decide, and I'll just give you the history of almost every tax vote that's happened in the last 5 years. Lupe passed. Am I correct? They passed. And so I would like to put it on the citizens and put it on you to go out and get your kids to vote for you and for your benefit, because that will be the statement that it gets made in the county, and then it's not on us to do that, but it's on the citizens to make that work. So I agree with what you say on that, but I also don't know, we really don't know what those costs will be to us if we freeze and how it extrapolates out for every year. If we have an action item here, we can take action and decide how we want to do it. We have the ability, because we don't have to get with Lupe till August 22nd, we have the ability to have a workshop and expand these numbers better to understand them. So we may want to have a better knowledge of exactly where this would take us from a county standpoint and what it would cost us in taxes, and then put it on the next commissioner's court. Once we do that, if y'all want to do that, I'm open to whatever is open to y'all.
You mentioned the offer of $75,000 exemption.
Yeah.
With the increase in the appraisals, which they've gone up every year, that'll get eaten up in a couple of years, right back where it started.
I don't disagree with you on that. Yeah.
So I think that we need to do something of a permanent nature. That's just me, and I'm not opposed to putting it out here to a vote, because I'm pretty sure how it goes. But on the other hand, we have the ability as Commissioners Court to adopt this. Now, if reading my motion and put it to a vote would irritate or put somebody in a situation where they probably have to voice an opinion contrary to what everybody in here wants, then I'm not opposed to put it on the ballot.
And I guess listening to what everybody has to say, I would probably think about how you want to make that motion as to, because if one of them failed, we can always make another one. But I would also stand, well, I heard what I said. I'm in favor of having the citizens voted in.
I am too, and I didn't mention that, but it doesn't matter to me from a road and bridge perspective. We will continue to do the best we can with the money that we receive, and that's what we can do.
I think it's worth it if we all did what we can with what we have. So, I mean,
Then if we opt not to put it to a vote up here, how soon do we need to get the verbiage to Lupe?
August 22nd.
August 22nd.
Okay.
August 22nd, we'll call an election. It can't be a little bit after that, right, Lupe?
August 22nd at 5 o'clock, you have to call the election.
We will have to call the election.
That is correct.
Does everything have to be on the ballot by that date?
No.
Okay. We will have it to you by August
Probably
22nd.
by the beginning of September.
That's not a problem. We will get it to you by then.
This is one way to get the public out there to voice an opinion, and straight up with you, I'm all for this. And if it takes knocking on doors, I'll do it. Not a problem at all. So they may call the cops when I walk up. But
I think just turnout is a good example of what's going to happen at the election if this is on the ballot. And there's a lot of folks that are going to be 65 at some point that are going to say, absolutely. So,
Well, we hope that.
They put on their taxes, on the road tax, they voted in a nickel, I promise you, they'll never go over a nickel.
And,
Never have.
and as far as,
Never have.
is voting up here for a tax break for me, I'm all for voting for it. But, you know, if they want to put me in jail, go ahead, I don't care.
It's not illegal. I'm just tell you my feelings on it. I'm voting for my benefit, and I'd rather have the citizens do that.
Well, then we will throw it back on the citizens.
You want to make that motion to do that?
I'm got a motion to
put it.
It doesn't have anything to do with that.
I'm asking you. If
I'll make a
you
motion that we get it on the November ballot.
I'll second that.
30th.
In what form?
Freezing over 65. To answer your question, if one member of the household is over 65, I'm pretty sure it's frozen. You asked me if a husband is, if one member is 65, one member is 50, then that person at 50 gets the benefit. And as long as there's one member of the household is over 65. I'll recheck that, but I'm 99% sure that's the way the law works. And that's the way this will work.
And the burden would fall on you folks out there to get on the phone and get folks out for this next election and get it done. In a way that makes better sense, it would show a percentage of people that want it. And instead of us five up here making the decision.
I have little doubt that it won't pass, but and it would be effective if we try to make it effective. I got to check, but none of my taxes.
Retroactive to October the 1st.
Next year.
It would be January 1. Mr. Aylander, can you turn that off?
Back here.
The question still hasn't been answered. What form will it be on the ballot? Will we be freezing total taxes, or will we be freezing?
All we can freeze is the tax value from a county's perspective. Okay? We can't address the hospital district. The property value is frozen. Okay? For county tax purposes only. For example, your school districts, if you're over 65, you already see that on your tax statement. I'm sure that the school district has done that. Okay? So what will happen is we will do it as a county and freeze it over 65.
On that.
And I gotta remind all y'all, I'm sure y'all know this, but once you turn 65, you gotta go register and tell them you're over 65 or else you don't get that benefit.
And
So-
if you've already had a school exemption on file over there with the appraisal district, it automatically gets added to it. You don't have to go fill out any paperwork. And where I stand on this deal is, I'd like to see it frozen. And if the appraisal rate and the tax rate cause the tax to decrease, then it needs to decrease and stay there.
Right. Which I think our tax rate has been decreased in the last couple of years, and I think it's going to continue to decrease. And that's a lot attributed to that growth on the east side. Because as we get more value in, I will tell you also, we have one data center here. We got at least 2 more that are probably coming. When those data centers hit here, you will watch your tax rates drop a whole lot more, because one 200-acre data center is worth $1 billion, and if the whole county taxable value is only $5 billion, that's 20%. That's added to our tax base in one 200-acre data center. So if you want to know why we like data centers, that's why we like them. And they don't put one kid in school. So
And if your tax rate goes down, that's an excellent thing. But if your appraisal goes up, smoke and mirrors, folks.
yeah.
You're still paying more taxes.
Thank you. Commissioner Beck, before we vote, for bringing this up. I think, I appreciate you doing it. Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, the valuation, what you're proposing would be frozen at the current value, or the value would return 65?
So, no, you can't, it does not freeze until you turn 60. So let's just say, and I just turned 65 last September, okay? So my value doesn't freeze until 2022, this year, okay? So I turned 65 in 2021, and it will freeze in 2022, and then it'll stay frozen, and that's only for my purposes for the school district, but that will be for the purposes of county values once we pass this, or the citizens pass this.
My question is, would the valuation be frozen at what it was when I turned 65?
Oh, that's right. It's going to be the next.
December, that was still
It's going to be the next year because they can't. They're not going to retroact just to you.
If he's 8 years old, he wants it to go back to the.
Oh, I now understand your question. It's going to freeze as of the current rate, current value. It's not going to go back to when you were 65, if you're over 65, if that was your question.
Right.
Good try, you know. But unfortunately, we won't be able to take it back.
I say separately, then you're in the school will be the same value.
There you go. Well, happy birthday early. Go ahead, ma'am.
My question is if the committee does not decide to make that decision and it is put to the vote of the voters, how many of the elder won't make it to the vote?
Well, ma'am, I can tell you that we do everything possible to help people over 65 to vote. They can do mail-in ballots. If you know anybody over 65 that can't go vote, you get them to contact this man's office. He will send them a mail-in ballot and make sure it gets processed. But I don't think in this county, and I think, well, there's nothing that stands in the way of somebody wanting to vote. We will do everything possible.
Amen. We have Alpha Regional Transit based in Devine who will pick people up and take them to the polls.
We also provide every election. We also provide curbside loading, so that's.
Yes. If you can drive them up there, Lupe will take somebody out there and give them a ballot to vote. So, and we do have, there's plenty of ways to make sure that people over age can vote. You know, it works. You're welcome, man. Okay, we have a motion, a second.
I got one more.
Go ahead.
This is just a Band-Aid of what I personally am working on. I have been in contact with Andrew Murr. I have been in contact with, hopefully, Peter Ford when he comes into office. I have been in contact with some other senators also. The fellow back there that wants to go back to 65, I agree with you 100%. I think what this thing needs is a reevaluation of our appraisal district, and I am working on it fiercely. I know Chris has been working on it. He's only got, how many more days, 155?
155.
155, he's still working on it. When you bought your house 20 years ago at $100,000, that house should not change until the day you sell it. That is my point. There's several other things that need to be done to help this thing out. Get rid of the appraisal district. I do have some people in Catskill talking to state senators that might want to take this job on and get the rest of the county. Now, we're looking at years down the road if it gets voted in. I assure you, I am working on it because these taxes are totally going out of hand. My next thing on this thing is about this valuation. We valued your house in today at $200,000. I know for a fact that I am right in the middle of probably the biggest growth there is, even over Bear County, in Medina County. I'm seeing today, so $500,000 houses that have been on the market for 1,600 days, they're dropping them down to $450,000. What happens if we freeze your taxes, Mr. Logan, I'm going to use you, at $400,000? Next year, you can't sell that thing for $300,000. You're only $400,000. in the next couple of years, could be on the smaller end houses. When I say smaller end, I'm talking about $500,000 less going backwards.
I will also add in and tell you that in defense of the appraisal district, she is told by the state what number to increase those values with, okay? So in case you want to hear about another unfunded mandate, okay? The states dictate to her what to put as the value increases, and that's why. Because all those values then get to be passed, we gotta pay the bills, and they don't have to pay bills. That's less they gotta pay, more we gotta pay. So it's more on your back. So your state government, and Andy Murray, I will just tell you in his offense, about 4 years ago, because they're always arguing about property taxes, ad valorem taxes, and how much they make, Andy Murray put a bill together abolishing the property taxes. Basically, we would run this state on sales tax.
Amen.
Sales tax would go up from 8.5% to about 15%. Okay? So nobody, if you own a home, you don't pay taxes at all, but you will pay more sales tax. And Andy tried to pass that through, and of course it shocked a lot of people, and it didn't pass. But I have a feeling that they will keep trying that because, hey, I'm in favor of a sales tax. If I buy something, I should pay for it. If I don't pay, I'm going to save money on my home tax. I know that. But I'm just telling you, your legislatures is where this works. And Larry's right. He's working with Pete and Andy, and you know, I have 155 days, but I probably won't lose contact with them. So because it's something that's I go to Austin every 2 years, 4 to 10 times a year to argue and fight about things that need to get done. So I'm going to miss doing that, so I may do it just for fun.
And these guys do answer the phone when we call them.
Yeah.
So you don't get a machine there.
Could I make a comment on what Commissioner Sitter said about,
Sure.
about the appraisal district, stuff like that? I protested my appraisal. And I went before the ARD and I got some knocked off of my market value on the house and stuff like that. But it didn't change the actual assessment that I'm going to be taxed at. And what you were referring to, Judge, was 10% cap, correct? From the last appraisal to the new, okay, that's a 10% cap. And that's exactly what all of my neighbors were doing, and everything was the same, 10%. My big issue with the ARD was with the land. My land went up 43%. My neighbor's land went up 17%. And we're right next to each other, okay? And that's not fair. And I argued that with the ARD. But they said, well, it's because you're on 471. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense either. Because I checked, you know, on the, what is the CAD thing on the appraisal district and stuff. Other properties on 471 that had frontage on 471 North, they would go anywhere from 63% up down to 22%. So it doesn't make any sense. There's no equity, and that's what they talk about. So I kind of agree with that, but it's just, whatever you can do to freeze the 65 people that are on fixed incomes like I am and others in here would help us. We pay her. Okay?
Sure. We're still, okay.
And we're still paying. So.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Did you vote?
Aye. Okay. That'll be the 8th time I've had to vote since I've been here in 7.5 years.
So you want to take this to the voters?
We're going to put it on the voters. It'll be on the November ballot, and we'll put it that way.
Who's going to write it?
I'll probably write it, and I'll probably run it by our state people, just to make sure I got it right. But I'll probably write it up. I'll take the first draft. Y'all guys, if y'all want to hang around for about 5 minutes, there's a couple other items that I think y'all may want to hear about. And that's going to be, I just wanted the sheriff to talk about item number 20, because I think it's a great after it gets boring, then you can leave. All right, next we're gonna have discussed take possible action on approval of extending the interlocal agreement with Medina County 911 Emergency Communications District for another year.
We do this every year.
We do.
We do. That we approve the extending interlocal agreement with the 911 Emergency Communications District.
Motion is second, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up, discuss take possible action on approving extending the interlocal agreement with the city of Castleville for the thoroughfare plan. And what happened was we entered into an interlocal with them that we would split the cost of the interlocal, of the engineering plan. And when I looked at the interlocal, it expired. So we need to extend it. And I need to get Castleville extended.
Make a motion to approve the extended interlocal agreement with City Council.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. And I'm sorry, Mr. Logan, did you want to say something about 19?
Well, yeah, that probably affects me more than anybody else in this room. Commissioner Sitter and I, we talked about this a little bit too. What I'm concerned about, it's the truck traffic, basically. You know, that goes up and down 471 all the time. I've done counts, the county and the state's done counts and stuff like that. I understand the bypass to eliminate the issue with the city of Castle, and that would be great. It's not going to affect me because where the bypass is supposed to cross as far as 471.
Right.
Okay? So it's not going to affect me
I don't
at all.
think that's enough.
It's just
You'll have the same amount of traffic
That's
no
right,
matter
I still
what.
will. I still will have the same amount of traffic. But, so the concern is now, what kind of an intersection are you even looking at with the state?
That intersection where it comes up to the state highway would be an agreement between this group of people and TechDOT.
The engineers,
Yourself here?
Yeah.
so the engineers are going to decide what kind of intersection that will be based upon engineering standards for a road like that.
Yeah.
I can't tell you today if it's going to be a three-way stop. It'll probably be a red light if I had to guess, but that's the whole purpose of getting an engineering plan together, is for them to tell us what to do, because we're not experts at that.
Okay. When would the state then be involved? So basically, I'm looking at a timeline and when something like this is going to happen.
Okay, on the timeline, after we okayed the deal the other day, the engineer has to draw a set of plans. This is no study, so much as
I said it was a study, that was my mistake.
and I called him on it too.
He did.
We do have some
Okay,
conversations
it's a
about it.
matter of semantics, a study, a plan, okay, so at the end result, you get the same.
We've been studying way too long.
Okay.
So anyhow, we gotta put the plans together. TechDOT will look at the plans and we turn it into the grant people that sound like there's a lot of grant money out there. So we ought to have a set of plans before we can show the grant people what we're putting in. They can't say, oh yeah, we heard you on the commercial work on putting a road in, putting money on it. It don't work like that. But I assure you, whatever the intersection is going to be, it's going to be to TechDOT, is we cannot turn their road without them going completely through our set of plans. We are not dealing with local TechDOT. This has been working through the district in San Antonio. They're, I guess you call them a step or two above what we have out here as far as
Never reported them.
okay. But anyhow, that's how that's going to work out. And we're going to have a 120-foot road running to a 86-foot road. So our road is going to be quite a bit bigger than the state highway. So all that has to be engineered. And I'm sure it's going to be up to TechDOT standards. Will there be a red light there? My working with red lights, it's not going to be anytime soon. Victory Lane is a curved one. We've only got a light there. Victory Lane, we have a yellow flashing light, and we have wrecks weekly. And I can't get them to change that light out. The lights cost $450,000 to $600,000 a piece. And getting TechDOT to put one up is tough. But anyhow, like I say, I appreciate you coming to my office. If anybody wants to come out and sit in my office, please. I'm there every single morning except on Thursday, every other Thursday, I leave a little early to go to here. The day we came over, we had probably an hour conversation. He brought a list of stuff, and I think they had me on everything we talked about, but I told him exactly what is going on. I have nothing to hide in my office, and I invite everybody there.
Judge, can you divulge what the estimated cost of this plan is that the county's going to share half of?
Well, it's the one they presented 2 weeks ago, it's $850,000.
$850,000 is our cost?
No, $850,000, $425 would be our cost, but we also are going to go to the developers to pay part of those costs, because they have to incur them anyway. We're going to, once we get the money in, we will also, once we get the plan in, not the study. Once we get the plan in, it will be a grant. We'll apply for grants to hopefully reimburse us for everything. But initially, we got to put the money up in hopes we get it all back. But it's a risk we take. So.
All I take 13 years of me being involved in the commission court, this is the closest we've ever come. And how else we've been working on this with different mayors? We've been through 3 or 4 mayors. And here we are today.
Another RCP away from capital, so we won't say much.
It's just,
you got a good mayor now.
We have a good mayor. We've had some good mayor. But anyhow, this is the closest it's ever got to get something done.
He's dedicated to trying to get this done. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed the possible action on approval of proposal for repair, protect, defend LLC for livestock subscriptions. So the sheriff brought this to us about during a workshop. And Sheriff, would you mind just kind of describing what this is?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I believe all school teachers should get a tax break when they get their certificate. I support teachers, so any teachers there? Thank you all. Thank you very much.
There's my algebra teacher sitting right back there in the corner. Taught me everything I know, and so if y'all want to throw a math question at me, you can just give it a shot. So.
Basically what this is a tool for teachers. Their cell phone becomes a very powerful tool in the time of need. This app is every police officer, when I say police officer, I'm talking about game wardens, I'm talking about every police department, I'm talking about the state troopers, sheriff's office, and a lot of counties around us will be using this app. So you could have an officer from Uvalde driving through Hondo and a teacher sit this off, or a staff member of the school, and that person will also get that notification and tell them where to respond to. So we're trying to put communication into the classrooms and not just the cell phones. This takes 3 quick motions. You can't accidentally set it off. There ain't no false alarms. And when it goes out to all of us, all the police officers. The schools, it's like 89 cents a year. I believe that's right. 94 cents a year per user. So we talk in school, we come up with a number and we add a little bit to it. And what I've asked the Commissioner's Court to do is to approve it and pay for that first year, the county pay for it for the teachers to have that when they go back to school.
And that's what's before us. They're going to be here next
Tuesday.
Tuesday at 2:30. I think we've talked to every superintendent of our school districts. We got 6 here. They're all in favor of it. They're all on board with it. And I think what's before us today is for the Commissioner's Court to approve payment of $26,511, which will cover the first year for every school district, teacher, and other people that need it, which there are, I think, 2,173 people that can download this app. And
we will come and it will be put on their phones, everybody that is a part of it.
I think y'all have been practicing already, right?
Yes, sir.
I got locked out, locked in, everything else already.
So I would recommend that the Commissioner's Court make the payment for the benefit of all the school districts.
I'll make the motion that we pay this in the benefit of all school districts.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. If y'all want to leave, we'll take about 2 minutes so y'all can head out if you want to hang around.
my board, but you're welcome to stay.
Before everybody leaves, our sheriff is always
Thank you, guys. Okay, are we ready to resume? We ready? Hey, Chief. The other chief. We're going to start. Y'all want to talk about fires, you know? Take care of it. All right, next we have discussing possible action on approval of BIS digital technical support agreement contract number, and I'm going to read it out, but this is, BIS is the courtroom recorder systems. Yeah.
I'm going to approve the BIS digital technical support agreement.
Second. Motion second, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next we have discussion take possible action on approval of TKE work order for the annual elevator inspection for the Devine annex.
I'm going to approve the work order.
All right, motion and second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed the possible action on approval of the following xerox agreements. Wick and Devine, Wick and Pleasanton, and Sheriff's Patrol.
I'll make that motion.
Wick and Pleasanton.
Well,
We got Wick and Devine.
so Wick has taken over Atascosa's Wick. So it's covered under her contract, but just recently she has, Atascosa apparently, I don't know what the situation was, but their WIC wasn't working very well. So the state,
They didn't want to do it anymore, so they called me in.
the state came to Mandy and asked her if she would take over Atascosa. I asked her if she wanted to do it. She said yes, so, well, we now have Atascosa.
She's got a Xerox machine
We
now.
also got one better.
Yes, she's got one everywhere.
Yeah, we should have that contract from the state on the agenda
The
next
state
week.
pays for it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a motion and a second, right? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed the cost of action on approval of OPAT maintenance agreement number Q11203 for precinct 2.
This is an agreement I've had in place, and I haven't decided exactly which one I'm gonna do yet, but I just wanted to have it here because we got 5 new pieces of equipment, and they have done a fantastic job of what they're doing, keeping me updated on the PM, and I just didn't use them, I should keep on using them.
Okay, we'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we, okay, to make this agreement with OPAT.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed the possible action on authorization to advertise for sealed bids for renovation of the building at 1508 Avenue M. That is the old treasurer's office that is soon to become, well, we've already agreed to move it to the extension office. Jennifer, we don't have those drawings. Where are those drawings back?
Pat has them.
So
He
so
didn't.
technically, what's gonna happen is the extension office, we went out for bids, we think it's gonna be over 50,000, which is why we're going out for bids. But the extension office, we take and redo that whole treasurer's office, basically gut it all the way to the back wall where the bathroom is. They're gonna put it in so they can do presentations, they're gonna have a cooking, so they can, 4-H and all those people with cooking demonstrations, teaching, things of this nature. So right now, when they need to do something, they gotta go find a place to do it.
We own that building?
We own that building. So we're gonna pay for it so they can, it's to the benefit of the extension and 4-H and FFA people. So I need a motion.
I make the motion to authorize to advertise for sealed bids for renovation of the building on 1508 Avenue.
Second.
Motion is second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed a possible action on resolution approving submission of a grant application for fiscal year 2023 Operation Lone Star Grant Program for the Sheriff's Office. Let's do them all at once, and then if you don't want to break any out, we will. We have discussed a possible action on approval of the submission of Walmart local community grant application through the front door by Sergeant website for the $2,000 from the city, from the Dashville Walmart to help with our K-9 expenses. And also discuss the possible action on approval of the submission of a hazard mitigation grant application certification to the Texas Division of Emergency Management for county warning signs. Huh?
C's actually mine.
C's yours? You want to separate it out, or you just want to make a motion to pass them all?
Oh, we can make a motion to pass them on.
Okay. You just did. All right. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussed the possible action on declaring office furniture and equipment salaries and authorized disposal from the following offices: pre-trial and elections. We're getting rid of filing cabinets and tables and desks and small computer equipment.
Make a motion to declare the furniture, salvage.
Motion and a second. Any other discussions?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
When you pass it, that's fine. Don't buy any more of these bitches.
Mr. Logan, when we built this thing, and they wanted to put it for under room for 100, I said no. Actually, the old courtroom was just fine, we could fit about 20 in, but now we got 60 or so today, so it rarely is it ever full. And generally, you tell us we should get some padding or something.
I think they're all healthy.
You know what? My replacement is sitting right over there. Why don't you tell him, all right? In case you need something. Anyway.
Over 65 fences.
Well, the should get up there around. All right, we're going to court member announcements. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, motion passes. Court member announcements.
Where's Dane Super Swamp, is a new paper we got going. They're nonstop. They're taking today from me, actually, they got done at 9:30 this morning. They're getting ready to have Jerry next week. Monday was Jerry, and it's one of the best things we've done.
I gotta say, with the heat going away a little bit, like I said, we do them all road generally in less than 2 hours. Before, it was taking us daylight or it's 103, 104, 105 days. We do have a little, I have a little problem, especially with the second coat of the asphalt bonding. It won't cool down. We are hitting the water, trying to cool it, trying to cool it, trying to cool it. But some of them have come out a little bit rough, so we'll fix them later.
Stay busy, 3.
We are too. I want to come down and talk to Bartle a little bit while ago. We're going to have to get a new tractor, not farm tractor, but a truck. We got a POS that we need to get over the loops.
Hope you're not hurry.
Melissa's working on, she's got everything she needs. I guess, where do you send her what she needs to work on the new tax rate?
I'm going to send it today, so,
All right. So she's waiting on Eduardo, so the pressure's on you to get it to her. And as soon as we have that number, we'll have a workshop to try to finalize the budget. But it's pretty much done with the exception, we don't know what the final dollar is going to be, and that won't happen until Melissa does the tax rate, which won't happen until Eduardo sends his stuff over to her.
Which won't happen until he gets it done.
So, if I do that, we'll do right now.
I'll let you go, I'll go out for 11.
You doing it right now? No pressure, Eduardo. We're just waiting on you, okay? All right, with that, we are going to stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And